Hello, it's Steve Wilmes, and
Matt Kita, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Are you asking them or are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody. I want to know how everybody's doing.
Well, I couldn't understand what you were talking about there. You need some communication skills.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, I'm not very good at communication.
Really?
Yeah. It's really important to be a good communicator. And
It is.
Yeah, and that's something that we want to address today.
Yeah, I think just talking about some technology issues, right? I mean, communication is key to everything. If you start reading enough books, self-help books, if you start to read nonfiction books on business, life stories, autobiographies, if you look at why marriages fail, if you look at why businesses fail, why you can't help your staff grow, all these things come down to communication. And I think this topic came up partly because active shooters and technology and communicating during stressful events, which is a struggle in and of itself, right? It's a daily struggle to communicate well. To do it under stress and to do it in an emergency situation is even more imperative that you get it right and you get the fundamentals of communication right. So when you look at that, it's like, okay, what's the first step? Well, the first step is you got to know your technology.
Absolutely.
So if you're an IT guy and you get the big idea that you're going to put in some new tech and you don't train people, shame on you. Shame on you, right?
Exactly.
Fire that IT guy right away. I'm not joking. I'm serious. You know, nothing drives me more nuts than that, actually. Right. And we see this, you got the calendar year, you got the fiscal year, right? July 1, everybody comes back. Well, hey, guess what we did? We have a new software system. Hey, we saw this many times in some of our groups, right?
Right.
Hey, we just we're switching from Facebook to X, and from X to X, and from X to Z, and Z to Y, and D to D. And it's like, okay, but all the functionality that was there is different over here. How do I use it? How do I communicate? Hey, I have something urgent. Well, when's the best time to learn that? Oh, right during the middle of an active shooter event.
Right. Yeah.
What's the password to dial 911? What's the password to what's the password?
Yeah. To
what's
get
the
on
code?
The phone system to do all bulletins, call out to the site. I mean, it just obviously when you're in the middle of a situation like that, that's the last time that you want to learn about this. It's just something like we always talk about, like with emergency plans, right?
Right.
You don't want to, if an emergency happens, you don't want to be flipping through your little booklet with the plan on how to handle this particular emergency right then and there.
Right.
Oh, I should have read this before this happened. You know,
I was watching Mossad talk about answering the door at 3 a.m. It's on a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And whether or not you should take your gun and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, well, when do you want to learn how to do this? Not at 3 a.m. in your underwear answering the door. Same thing holds true here. You don't want to be learning this as I'm standing there.
Right.
And again, when we're simulating things, okay, great. We just learned a failure.
Right.
But in real life, golly, the time it takes for Matt to go find password or look it up could be the difference between life and death.
Absolutely.
Like seriously, the difference between life and death.
Yeah.
And Matt, I think Matt, you can even say, like, remember I bought radios for us, and I was getting I was like, just leave your radio on. I'm trying to call you. I'm trying to save battery. Right. Because again, like, how do you communicate? What's the purpose of this tool? How long does the battery last? How do you utilize it? When do you utilize it? Now, you can make assumptions about that all day long and say, well, these are smart people. They should know how to do all this. But the reality is, no. Yeah. Every phone system's different, right? Mm-hmm. What was once a 4-digit code is now an 8-digit code. What once was a 00, go to any hotel, they're all different.
Yeah.
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 So learning this and the same thing, like yeah, you want to test these things. Test them. We talked about this, the stress inoculation. Don't test it in the middle. I mean, yeah, you test it to make sure it works, but don't learn it in the middle of the test.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Learn it. Teach. Hand out informational sheets.
Yeah.
Learn. Teach. Learn. Teach.
Yeah.
You know?
Practice.
Practice.
Understand what the protocol is. Like, okay, we're in this situation. Who do I need to talk to? Do they know that I'm going to talk to them using this app,
right,
or this phone, or
right,
at this number? You
right.
know, it's set that out ahead of time when everything is calm and everybody can sit back and concentrate on it and learn it. And then that way, after you have that down pat, then you can begin with drills that will actually test your composure and ability to handle that kind of communication under stress.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the stress is really the key part.
Yeah.
Right. Like one of the things that we talk about with our communication tools is, can you do it with your eyes closed? Right? Can I do it by feel? Do I know where the number pads are? Right. Do I know if I have a phone system and I have that phone and it's not just the 10 or 12 buttons on the phone,
right?
You know, it's 50 buttons on the phone. Do I know where the keypad is and what does what? Can I do that if there's a major earthquake and I have something in my eyes? Yeah. Can I do that if, you know, there was a light blast and all of a sudden, you know, maybe it's an electrical blast and I don't have vision.
Right.
You know,
right.
Things like this. So can I do it? Can I communicate? And don't forego. This is like when Twitter and all this came out, the text messaging. We saw this just recently. Conducted a drill, standard SMS text messaging. Boom, the number of people. Well, only so many messages filter out per second.
Right.
So once that starts going, we actually ran a drill for over 30 minutes. And at the end of it, we started to debrief. And one of the participants came up and they said, "Oh, look, I just got text message that the drill began."
Right.
That was 30 minutes ago. It just came through.
Yeah.
So again, you have to evaluate. You have to know what it is you're using it for. Don't forego the original technologies. Pen, paper. They are technology. They are technology. Let me say it again. They are technology. And in the words of some great men, I'm not joking here.
I'm laughing, but I 100% I'm with him. This is
technology. Technology. So many times I talk about, hey, you may have to walk a message over there. You may have to get on a bicycle and ride that message over there.
Right.
You know, you got to do what it takes. And so technology, sometimes that original, it's not even the original, but closer to origin, pen and paper, old school technology still works really, really, really well. Yep. So that communication piece, couple tips there, right? Make sure you're using the communication loop. Sender sends, receiver receives, receiver repeats, receiver understands, and without judgment is able to repeat that back, right? That's the loop. If you do that loop, you know, so many times, even when we're out, right, I'll say, elevator shaft clear, boiler room clear, right? I need to hear from this guy over here that he received the message.
Yeah. Copy. Sometimes if it's for, I'll even repeat the whole message verbatim. Yeah. You know,
and
so
sometimes I will say boiler room clear, boiler room clear, boiler room clear. You know, make sure that he gets it. Yeah. But again, that communication piece is just so important. But you have to learn how to use it before the event.
Right, not in the middle of it. Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's just so funny.
Yeah, because we've seen it.
Yeah, we've seen it.
We've seen it go south.
Yeah, we've seen it go south. So don't let it go south on you. Learn to communicate. Put a plan together for you and your family. Make sure you practice it. You got to practice those things.
Yes.
Make sure people know what you're doing. Especially if you got kids, safe words are really important. Understanding where to go, what to do if you're out and about. I remember I have a friend that is a security professional and was high level, you know, well, 3-letter agency type stuff,
Right.
high level, and you know, would say that she had basically these safe words that she had with her nieces, nephews, and mom and rest of the family. And lo and behold, one day she was out in a shopping mall, and someone came to kill her. And she was able to use the safe word and shoot the guy right there in the shopping mall, and everyone got away. But without that level of communication practice, that's not going to occur. So you have to practice that. And again, testing is one thing, but learning and practicing before the test, right? Don't be,
Yeah.
I'm going to test you today. On what? Ancient history.
No instant pop quiz.
Oh, I love it.
Like that.
Yeah. So communication, it's a big one. If you read a lot of books, then you already know it's the common thread through everything. And it is the failure point, marriage, business, all of it, right? Yes. If I can't communicate my thoughts, well, I'm not going to have a successful marriage, right?
Yep.
I can't communicate, hey, my partner's wonderful, they look lovely, all those things. Or these are the items that you're doing that, you know, are irritating me. Same thing in business. If you can't communicate what products you need, what services you need, communicate with your clients, communicate with your vendors, then all that goes by the wayside.
Yep.
And pretty soon you have no business, you have no marriage. Exactly. And the same thing happens in emergencies. Yep. So I hope that helps.
Yep.
Good topic.
Yeah, it's a good topic. I hope by the end of this, I'm better at communicating than I was at the start of this.
Yeah, you're really good.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that.
Everyone, please send Matt a note to update his phone and stop butt dialing me. Anyway, if you have any questions, please send them in, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, we have that wonderful YouTube website out there. If you are watching us on the blog, that's great. But if you want to see a bunch of our kind of tidbits and little behind-the-scenes stuff, that's all out there on YouTube, and get a taste of our training, things like that. But be happy to help. Send in your questions. We love answering those on air.
Yep.
That's always good. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.
See you, folks.